Greetings. Just a short clip rant. I don't know what you call it. Most people think I'm perpetually in a bad mood, so it might be a rant. But I was just thinking, and too much to write. Every nation, every free people envisions God or their supreme being in their own image. It's visual in everything they do, all their works. I mean, any free nation that espouses any kind of religion, the supreme deity that the people worship is most likely in the image of the people of the nation. The only people supposedly free who don't seem to have or who don't seem to be permitted, and I'll tell you why I said permitted, to worship any supreme deity, any god in their own image without being labeled as some form of taboo, some form of negativity. Africans. Chinese have their Buddhas, all them look like Chinese, even though that we can debate the first Buddha. Caucasians, of course, the little boy Jesus. And then the Arabs have Muhammad, the faceless prophet. And then the Jews have Yeshua, who I imagine would look like Benjamin Netanyahu, or one of them dudes. But anytime the African comes up with anything black, anything dark, and claims that this is what our deity looks like, it seems as though there is a stigma, there's a negative connotation to worshiping anything that might seem black. And this seems to be a psychological issue that the entire planet has. So once you see anything black being worshipped, except for the black rock in Mecca that everybody goes to kiss, I guess if I were to chip out a piece of it and carve out a god, that might be acceptable. But besides that, anything black that you worship, somehow or the other, is deemed as negative. And this is the reason for this little rant, this video, this post, whatever you care to call it. That as free people, unless you can envision your supreme deity, your God, whatever image you envision him as, should be something representative of you and of your ancestors. Personally, my gods look like my ancestors. I envision the highest amongst man in my lifetime, who is Haile Selassie. Ain't no man had no higher title than him amongst men. And I don't care what you say, you can't challenge it. It's actual, it's factual, it took place. All kings of the earth bowed to him. So, as a human example for me as a man, I see Haile Selassie. And then there are energies, there are forces of people who look like me, that inspire me. Malcolm X had some nice energy. I like that energy. So if in my prayers, I exalt Malcolm X, Khalid Muhammad, Walter Rodney, Lyndon Forbes, Samson Barnum, Eric Williams. These are black men who I know did great things. There are women too who did great things. And in my prayers, I pray to these energies, to these beings, asking them for their energies, the energies that guided them during their sojourn in this realm, to help me, to guide me too. Because as a free being, I think that I think, and I say I think because I think that only these energies that I can ultimately identify with will ultimately identify and inspire my flesh. For me to incarnate an energy that is not mine would be betraying my ancestors' energies. And my ancestors did a lot of stuff with their energies. And they're out there crying for vessels. So I refuse to bow to Jesus Christ. I refuse to bow to Muhammad. I refuse to bow to Yeshua. I rather bow to Haile Selassie. I rather bow to Malcolm X. I rather bow to Horus if I'm looking for a mythological creature to bow to. But I will not bow to the gods and the deities of our oppressors and of the oppressors and the killers of our ancestors. And the only reason our ancestors accepted them was by brute force. And if they were in any way beneficial to our people, they would not have been enforced. They would have been followed freely and willingly. Yeah, of course, we follow it freely today and willingly today because we say, thy will be done, and give our will to something outside or some way that we have no control over. So yeah, we still follow it today, sadly. But it's time to wake up, wise up, and rise up. Rastafari lives, rules, and reigns. I love you, and I do smile.